Good evening, listeners, one and all. Welcome to the Valor Cup, the first Oceanic Valorant tournament presented by Amateur Oceanic Esports, sponsored by My Republic Gamer. For those of you out there who do not know my voice by now, I'm Pyronius. Joining me here is Temporal. That's right, we're back for a great night of Valorant action.
That's right, Pyronius. Tonight we are thrilled to be bringing you rounds 3 and 4 of the very first Valorant tournament hosted by AoE and one of the first overall in the Oceanic scene. Just like the ongoing Oceanic Valorant Open, the Valor Cup is one of our first chances to see just what Oceania has to offer the world and for players in the region to start making a name for themselves in a fresh new environment.
Absolutely. The Valor Cup is a brand new 5-week-long tournament with a $100 cash prize pool on offer for competitors. Schedule comprises of 2 stages, stage 1 being a 3-week-long Swiss bracket, where the 64 participating teams will play 2 matches every Friday night. Each round they'll be matched up against other teams with similar win-loss records. If you're not familiar with Swiss, that's how it works. Each team should be playing against an opponent of equivalent skill.
And once we're through stage 1, the top 4 teams in the tournament will advance to stage 2, where they will be taking part in a single elimination bracket playoff, where the winner will be taking home their share of the $200 prize pool provided by My Republic Gamer.
Stay home with the #1 broadband provider for gaming. My Republic Gamer offers fixed broadband plans and services that provide ultra-stable, ultra-low latency connections, optimizing your gameplay experience. My Republic Gamer customers can enjoy exciting privileges, special gaming offers, and exclusive access, I always stumble over that one, to specialized gamer perks. Make sure you check out My Republic today.
Let's put more S's into that plug just to keep tripping you up. But tonight we're featuring 2 exciting matches on the broadcast. The first we will see is a face-off between Cybernova and the Titanium Savages, followed by a matchup between Legion and their as-yet undetermined opponents. This being a Swiss bracket, we don't know exactly who is going to be facing off against who in round 4 until we have round 3 concluded and we know all the teams' results. But right now, let's get stuck into our first match, Cybernova versus the Titanium Savages. Pyronius, while we're still getting to know the teams in the region, there's no clear standouts. There's a little bit of shuffling around which teams are stronger, which teams aren't. And these teams, they're looking like some of the stronger teams in the Valor Cup right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of these teams in their matches last week, I should say, their round 1 matches, but also the round 2, because they did 2 rounds of the Swiss last week, had fairly comfortable victories, both of them putting on great performance. So we're heading towards, I suppose, the upper end of the Swiss bracket here. Obviously, as rounds go onwards, we'll start to see more clear dominance as the bracket sorts itself out. But both of these teams getting very dominant performances. Cybernova managing... Well, they got a forfeit in their first round, admittedly, but they got in their second round a 13-2 victory against a team by the name of Mythion Odin. Meanwhile, Titanium Savages putting up 2 wins of their own, one against Hen Honeys 13-3, and then one against FFNSP 13-2. So very, very comfortable wins from both of these teams. Not really getting challenged that much, not dropping too many rounds. So it should be interesting to see these 2 go head-to-head, because that will definitely come to an end for at least one of these teams.
Indeed it will, and though they're no strangers to losses themselves, both teams have competed in the Oceanic Valorant Open. They got knocked out in the group stages. Titanium Savages making it all the way up to the round of 64, so they are up there with one of the best teams in the region. So we'll see if they are able to keep that momentum going, or whether Cybernova, they may have just stumbled a bit earlier in the competition, had a rougher schedule and end up being knocked out earlier. Maybe that's just the case. They come back strong in the Valor Cup and take it all out here. We're excited to find out, and I guess for the viewers who aren't familiar with the process of picking maps tonight, we don't allocate maps. We allow the teams to choose from the entire pool of maps. One team chooses 2 maps that they like to go to. The other team picks from that pool. And that's how we decide a map, and then we decide on attacking, defense, and then we get into it.
Yeah, so it's a bit less complicated than the old CS pick ban. For those of you out there familiar with, more familiar with CS, I understand a lot of people getting into Valorant do come over from that scene. Definitely a lot of similarities in here, but obviously not quite so many maps as CS at this point in time.
No, it does make things a little easier, though it can get a little tedious sometimes when you're playing in that ranked queue and you just get the same maps over and over and over again.
I got nothing but Haven all day today. Nothing but Haven.
That's all right. I like Haven. I didn't coming into the game. I saw that 3-site map and thought, don't know if you should be mixing with that tried and true formula, but it turns out that's my favorite map.
Fair enough. No, I'm a big fan of, and I'm blanking on the name of it.
Split, Bind, or Ascent.
Bind is the one with the teleporters.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting map.
It's because I spend a lot of time playing as Breach, and Breach is really good for exiting those teleporters, especially in the low ranks that I play in. Everyone lines up ready to shoot you, and then you just pop flash and step out and mow them all down.
It is indeed. More of a Sage player myself, like filling that role, and it's a role that's really necessary for pretty much any team at the moment. Sage is a must pick, not only for that heal and the resurrection she provides, but the general utility. She has the slow orb, she has the barrier, she can really lock down an approach and make things difficult for the other team to get in onto a site.
Yeah, definitely. It means that one of those angles you can leave alone for a while. If someone's going to come through there, they're going to make some noise and you're going to know it's happening. So people cannot surround and push in from multiple directions quite as easily. And of course, those slow orbs really, really are a pain to deal with. If you've ever wanted to have a peeking duel with someone and you've got a slow orb on the ground, just forget about it. You are so slow. It's actually, at first I rated them really low. I was like, this doesn't seem that useful, but no, I'm really starting to appreciate just how much of a pain they are to push into.
They are, and there was so much of a pain during the beta that they had to nerf it. They made you walk faster, and they took away a lot of the sound that you gave off when walking through. So definitely a powerful tool in any Sage's arsenal, not just a heal bot, unlike Mercy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the big advantage you have on your supports here is that they've still got the same guns, and they're still just as lethal with their weapons, if not with the utility necessarily. Certainly, neither Sage nor Cypher have the strong initiation tools, but they do have such incredible kits, especially for site defense.
And
it's going to be interesting. Go ahead.
I was going to say there's another added benefit that if your more supporting heroes are popping off, they get their ultimates more often, and that can sometimes turn the tide of an entire round. Just a key ultimate at the right time, getting another player back, an orbital strike to deny a defuse, to deny a plant, can be so impactful.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to seeing what sort of hero rosters we see coming out from these teams. Certainly we can expect to see a lot of Sage, but what other heroes are they going to pick up? Because there are certain heroes that are perhaps overrepresented in ranks that are less viable in organized play.
I have a feeling you're talking about those more duelist type heroes, the Phoenixes, maybe a little bit of the Sova. Interestingly, I don't really see much Viper in my ranked games or in tournaments. She doesn't really get much play, so I don't expect to be seeing her come out. But another fan favorite could be Brimstone. The smoke's very useful, particularly here as we move into Split, and we will see Cybernova taking the attack. Titanium Savages starting out on defense as they select their agents.
Absolutely. So, not long now until we can see what we're dealing with. Just have to wait down. Unfortunately, at this point in time, we can't see what they're picking until we get into it. But I think everyone sort of understands and knows the limitations of the current Valorant spectator tools. So at this point in time, your guess is as good as ours, but we'll be underway in just a moment. And we can break down just what these teams will be packing here on Split.
I wouldn't mind, if Riot took the idea of during that setup time where teams are picking the agents, just put the spectators in. They can, have a little gun battle. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Like, give us something to do. We can't select a hidden agent. It's just sitting there going, come on, pick someone I want to see.
Okay, and here we are. So, we have, as you were saying, on the defense, Titanium Savages, who unsurprisingly have picked up a Sage. They've got Cypher as well. They've got Phoenix, Brimstone, and Raze. So, an interesting kit. Not a lot of flashes there, actually. The only real flash they've got is on the Phoenix. That may come back to bite them. On the other hand, Cybernovas are running a similar actual sort of roster. The main difference is instead of Raze, they are running Omen there. So that gives them a bit more in the way of initiation tools in exchange for Raze's, well, kill potential.
Cover going
That showstopper, a vital tool sometimes is getting those early kills in a round, but she'll have to build up towards the ultimate if they want to use it.
Bit of a slow push from B, but they've let the defenders know they're there. The camera goes out, bit of a camera scout, but it's going to get taken out pretty quickly now. They've got a smoke there to contend with as well. Still, we haven't seen a full rotation come through from the defense yet, but we're starting to see them edge through. They're clearing corners. It's only a matter of time until they're absolutely certain they know where all the members of the attacking side are. And we'll see if they're getting aggressive there.
Funk waiting with that barrier orb, but as that comes up, we're seeing the attackers move in. They pick up 2. Shy-Tan opening up big. 2 kills with that Ghost. Slendy follows up onto Minimize. Paint Shell over the top, removing the Omen. So a little leveling of the odds for the defending team, for Titanium Savages. Right now, Cybernova just deciding to get the spike down.
Yeah, they did take a while to get that spike down. It gave more time for Phoenix to push up there from B long. Now we've got Raze in Heaven picking off the Brimstone. There goes Slendy as well. It's Shy-Tan against the world, and he will get cleaned up there, so great.
What a re-engage.
Coming through.
Yeah, truly she's doing a lot of work there, getting the job done. That was a fantastic re-engage coming through from Titanium Savages. It looked like Cybernova may have walked all over them in this first round. That entry on the point took a while, but once they got the spike down, they were in a good position. But I mean, you can't count these duelists out. They get picked on the ladder for a reason. Not only are they fun to play, they can absolutely stomp all over you if they get rolling.
Yeah, I do like Phoenix's kit as far as duelists go, because he at least does have the flashes. Although I suppose Rantner also has the flashes available. It's really the other two that don't. But it means you've got a good mix of initiation and utility there. They can definitely bring something to the team there. Now we're setting up for a push onto A. Norson there on A ramp, ready to receive. Already predicting it, communicating it to the team. This could be dangerous. These were the 2 big players from the previous one. Oh, she gets caught out with a grenade in hand. That's a big one.
But Trilogy taking a corner, picks up 2. The Paint Shell gets a after-death kill onto Favos. Trilogy picks up their 3rd, and that will likely be all said and done for this Cybernova attack. Just the 1 player left, stuck in mid.
Yeah, stuck in mid. They don't know he's there. That's the one thing that he's got going for him, but he also doesn't have anything. You know, they've saved this round having lost the pistol round. So he's not really got a lot of tools here. Oh, this could be an opportunity.
Yeah, Myers gets the drop. Yeah, Shy-Tan will be finished off. And there you go, Titanium Savages, an early 2-0 lead. It's going to be very difficult for Cybernova to get in the next couple of rounds, given that they got a bit of bank to play with Poronius, but if they lose this round, they're going to be in dire straits for at least the first half of the first half.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the first real round. You know, we've gone through the pistol round, we've gone through the round that's basically dictated by who wins the pistol round. This is the first actual gun round. I do like the defenders. They're not actually heavily investing in rifles. They've still got a couple of SMGs, so going for the bonus round here, based on how well they've been picking up these first couple of rounds, it may come back to bite them, but it could absolutely pay off. A couple of early shots from Scheiden just trying to clear that corner. That does sort of let the defenders know that someone's pushing up there. He's got the camera scout out now. That gets cleaned up. But we're starting to see a bit of rotation actually away from B because the push hasn't come in yet.
No. They're just
Brimstone
waiting to
coming back now, yeah.
Yeah. Now waiting to see. There's a few members of Cybernova pushing up through mid. They're going to run into a barrier and a smoke. They break their way through. Slendy leading the charge. They're heading back up towards the high ground. Over B. See, random finishes up on Oh My. Favos taking Funk out of the fight. The trap wire down and Minimize doing what they can, but in the end will be taken out, which leaving Cybernova with a decisive 4v2 advantage. Spike in play on B. Heads down.
Ooh.
Trilogy and Orson coming back into the fight. They've leveled the odds and they run it back from Trilogy. Throws that curveball away. Doesn't quite get the blind, but the run it back going to save the Phoenix for the moment. They know there's one player on the high ground. They suspect there might be still on the high ground.
Yeah, Trilogy looking to clear the site. Doesn't know exactly who people are, but Norson picks up Favos, and there it is. Norson picks up Random Thingamabob as well. The defense will continue to hold, and that one is going to hurt because, as I mentioned at the start, 3 players of this defending side were just on SMGs. They didn't fully buy into the rifles, and this is going to put them up into a great position economically. Meanwhile, the poor attacking team here and now, the Tor Cybernova, they're basically going to have to go for another save round here, so it's probably looking at a 4-0.
And I think that was the same 2 players that saved the first round for Titanium Savages too. Norson and Trilogy, you see them leading the way on the scoreboard quite a bit ahead.
They don't have a
I mean,
chance.
Trilogy, that's 6-0, hasn't had the opportunity to buy again, just sticking with what he's got, and it's making waves for them.
Yeah, definitely working out quite well. Looks like we have them stacking up in mid once more. But the defense is also stacked up around here, and it's going to be a game of chicken here and now. Who will blink first?
It's always going to favour the defense. The longer the attackers take, the less time they've got to put a plan into action.
Ooh.
And losing a member like that is going to hurt even more. The dark cover is out in the middle, but it's countered by the smoke and incendiary. Cybernova just still have to wait, and they're just listening to that gunfire in the distance, putting fear into their heart. Oh, that's a
Aggressive
nice
wall there
Yeah.
for Minimize.
There you go, the counter wall comes out, but it's just a killing lane for Norson. Will finally be taken down by Favos, but the Sage is the last player remaining. Got the resurrection in hand. There may be an opportunity here to bring someone back, but do you really want to do that into what is currently a 1v3?
Yeah, I think you try and get a pick before you go for the res, even at that to a 2v2. But Funk denies that one, so that will be the 4th round going through in favor of Cybernova. But Economy is swinging back at least. The attackers able to buy up. They're going to have the 5 rifles this round. Interesting pick from the defenders here. Minimize actually going over to the LMG there.
Well, we could be seeing some spam through the walls. If you know where the attackers are likely to come from, it can pay off, be a nice surprise for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gun that I've seen distressingly often in my own games. I've always assumed that it was just like low-tier players abusing its high rate of fire, but yeah, Minimize pulling it out says that maybe it is a genuine gun. Meanwhile, we got a push coming through from A. Going straight down the gut there, but Wilson and Trilogy are ready for it. It is nasty.
You don't want to mess with these two. Trilogy down, so it's half the deadly duo gone. Cybernova has control of A for the moment, but Minimize and might collapse all over them. The smoke's not giving any cover whatsoever to Cybernova. Stritan trying to make waves, but a 1v3. We'll see if this Cyber can pull it out. Neural Theft. Going to highlight exactly where the defenders
No more
are.
charges left.
But you know what? Sees what he's facing and thinking, you know, I just don't want to go into this quite yet.
Yeah, sometimes you don't you may be able to see it, but you
No
don't
more charges
necessarily
left.
want to. I mean, it's kind of just telling. Well, I mean, it does let him know that he doesn't have anyone sneaking up behind him, so he does have that. But in the end, Norton puts it down, threads the needle, Shiton deleted. 5-0 in favor of Cybernova, who are looking really dominant in this matchup so far.
They are indeed, and it just goes to show that maybe the results from that Oceanic Valorant Open, where Titanium Savages made it so far in the tournament, it was for a reason. And you know what else may be for a reason? Minimize upgraded the LMG, not content with that RS play, thinking, you know what, it didn't quite work out. I think I need something bigger. The Odin is on the field, that Norse god looking to make an impact, and oh, this could be brutal.
And I wonder if this is like a big brand play coming through from Minimize, or if it's actually just BM at this point. Because certainly you're in a position where you can afford to be a bit cocky, be a bit lewd. That said, Trilogy going down early is a great opening.
Yeah, the first time I think Cybernova's had a player advantage all match. The paint shell putting a little damage onto Mai, so they're going to have to back off with Norsen. Charges in with a showstopper, finishes off the Omen. That's going to be one of only 2 ultimates Titanium Savages had. Cybernova still got a few in the bank. They still could make something of this round. As the Resurrection comes out, Meister Meow back in the fight, full 5-stack available once again for Cybernova, spamming through that smoke, looking for maybe a lucky blow, but in the end, they're going to back off away from A for the moment.
Oh, Splendy pops up, wins the duel against Omai. That's a big opening. Oh, gets caught with the flash in hand though. Norsen moving forwards, trying to reassert control here.
Favos taking out Minimize, no resurrection for the defending team. That ability's now been used once, and that's all we're going to hear about it in this round. Cybernova making the way onto A. Norsen though, picks up the 4th, finally taken down, but leveled out the odds enough that Funk could come back in and defuse the spike.
Yeah, Funk not quite getting the shot. There's the killing blow. Now it's a 1v1. Cypher v Cypher. Funk v Shiton.
Pressure on Funk now. You can't just burn down the clock and hope that Shiton doesn't get the plans down. Takes a bit of damage.
Yeah, it's especially rough. No initiation tools for Cypher. Cypher's great at holding ground, not great at taking it. So this definitely does favor Shiton here. But, oh no, look at this!
Oh no, facing the wrong way! It won't be enough time off the clock. The defuse will come through. Titanium Savages, 6 rounds unanswered. So I've been overlooking at a big fat 0 for the first half.
Yeah, it's definitely rough. At least that time they got a few casualties inflicted. You need to, like, if you're going to lose the rounds, you need to at least inflict enough damage that you start to break their economy, where your loss bonus means you can finally get an opportunity against them. And unfortunately, Cybernova have been in such a great position economically that they are absolutely loaded with cash. Meanwhile,
this is a nice spot.
Titanium Savages have been working so hard just to get what little done they have that they are playing with broke yet again. They haven't quite got enough to get full armor. They have fully rifled up, but well, the Guardian getting put to good use there as Slendy takes out Minimize.
That's probably the Odin gone. Funk actually retrieved that after the last time, but Norsen leveling out. Jaws once again. Funk picks up 3. Oh, Meister Meow alone takes Trilogy down, but sad little Omen will be finished off by Norsen. What a flank by Funk.
Yeah.
Flunk.
Absolutely, and Norsen has just taken over this match. 16-3 with 4 assists. They really are the star player here so far on Cybernova. And really, anyone who's been coming into these duels against them. I mean, I was a little... I was wondering how the Raze pick would play out, but those... yeah, those bombs have been put to incredible use, and yeah, she's really getting her value.
I bet Cybernova's glad that Riot decided to nerf the paint shells ever so slightly, otherwise they might be... Well, actually, no, I'm not sure. It could get much worse, or maybe it would be 8 rounds in rather than 7 if the paint shells were more effective than they were. A concerted A push will be shut immediately by Funk. Picks up a second 3K in as many rounds. The Odin is finally on the kill feed. It's also finished off the round. Thanks for that, Minimize. I can't hear anything.
And yeah, Funk definitely showing that Norsen is not the only star on the team. And you know, you can avoid where the Raze is playing, but that does not mean you've got easy times ahead. Great shot down there of that push.
I'm glad Funk managed to save that Odin twice in a row, because I don't think Minimize would have been able to rebuy it both times. And it finally paid off. Sometimes you got to invest a little in a few rounds in advance, carry it over, and eventually, you know, it's like an op. Eventually you light up and you get the job done. Interestingly, no ops out for either team so far.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to I wouldn't want to attack with an op on this map. It just doesn't. Unless you're trying to peek mid, I guess. But even then, I think you generally want a more flexible gun. And the defenders, just how they're playing, the angles they're taking are not great ones for ops. They're playing a very up close defense. Definitely working in their favor. Oh, Minimize allows the first one through, looking to. I suppose it was the ult, so yeah. Lets him slip through, doesn't give away the position, is hoping that they're just going to run up there into the kill zone being set up by this LMG.
Oh, please let this work. Stimbeacon might give the position away a little bit. It does help Norson, so maybe that's the bait. Favos picking off Oh My.
Oh, there it is! Oh!
Mo's down one, but Favos had enough of this Sage's antics, finishing off Minimize. Again, it's still even, but only 30 seconds left on the clock. Cybernova need to go now.
Yeah, well, they get the recon out there with the help of Cypher. They're going to commit through to A Heaven. The rotate's already coming through.
Cage triggered.
Trilogy on site. Norson looking to set up as well. They're not doing this quick enough. They're not going to have time at this rate.
No, and the two biggest fraggers for Titanium Savages are online. Oh no, Norson and Trilogy finishing up Funk. I mean, if the 3 players are left alive on Titanium Savages, you'd hope that at least one of those 3 has gone down, but all 3 of them still around? That's a nightmare for Cybernova.
Yeah, it's pretty rough position to be in. I mean, we've seen some good performance coming out from Favos and Shaitan, but on the whole, they're just getting outplayed so hard by these members.
Yeah, now we're finally seeing ops come out. Oh My, Minimize. The bottom fraggers right now. But Titanium Savages picking that up. They're not going easy at all on Cybernova. No mercy in their titanium hearts. As the Cyphers go down, Cyphers come back up. Orbital strike on to the B entry site. It's going to force back Cybernova. And in the end, you've seen 3 ultimates invested in only 30 seconds. Actually, in under 20 seconds.
Said Norson's on the scene, and the bomb buddy locked on the target, does get cleaned up. Shaitan's trying to catch the peak here.
Minimize found Meister. Here comes the counter-orbital strike. Can random Bob get someone Minimize out of the fight. Found Norson. So a slight ray of hope. It's now a 2v3. Cybernova still at a disadvantage, but they've got the spike in hand and A is clear.
Yeah, and they're already starting to rotate, but I think that rotation has been heard. Now we're seeing...
Oh no! Oh my! Farbos, he walked into that one. The second shot goes astray. Can the random thing get the spike down? Looks like... Oh, baits it. But might not get the opportunity. No, Funk finishing that one off. That was well read by Titanium Savages, knowing that they were open and adjusting to accommodate.
Yeah, this is rough. I'm not gonna lie. This is not a great position to be in. If you're 10-0, it's really hard to have the mental game here. And with very little money in the bank as well, we're seeing some desperation coming out with those guns as well. Having to decide between armor and weapons, and it looks like they don't really have what they'd want from either. You got a couple of bulldogs on the field, and a couple of players running with only half armor.
Oh, Trilogy.
Oh,
Run up. Oh, that's gonna hit. Oh, it doesn't quite get his spray down. We'll catch Mr. Meow before he's sent packing back to his original spot.
ooh,
But Oh My is watching. Yeah, Trilogy down. So trade so far. I don't know, but they have an opportunity to get in there, but Oh My shutting that one down again, picking off Farbos on the entry. a little space afforded to Cybernova, but that's just so you can walk them into the trap sprung by Norse, and Funk picking up a random thing. But he's just Slendy left. We'll see if they can get anything done, but no, they're up through the doorway, cleaning out the Phoenix. No running it back for you.
Yeah, maybe that's why we're seeing, we were seeing early on not a lot of performance out of Oh My. Maybe it's just because he is the team's up player and just isn't as comfortable with just the regular rifles, just hasn't had the opportunity to pull it out. Now we're seeing a lot more contribution coming through.
And it might also be a factor of a Brimstone player typically likes to hang back because you've got all that utility that you want to use for a re-engage if the enemy team plants. So if you've got three people fragging out in your team, yeah, the enemy's never getting to your Brimstone. Well, of course he's not going to frag out.
Absolutely. Now we have both Norsen and Trilogy pushing forwards quite aggressively. They're clearing these corners really quickly. And meanwhile, members of Cybernova, they're sort of stuck waiting for the push.
Oh, Norsen and Trilogy have split. Slendy takes a hit in mid. Trilogy has got an eyeball on Shaitan, removing that Cypher from the fight, who was trying to rotate around A, and now Cybernova in all sorts. They're split up, they're spread out. Titanium Savage is ready for whatever this attacker is going to throw at them.
And Funk ready, rotating through, takes a few hits through the wall, but...
Oh, that's 3 rounds in a row they've found Favos on the entry. Just Meister Meow left, trapped. Everyone on Titanium knows where they are, and they clean out a golden first half, 12-0 Pyronius. They're 1 round away.
Yeah, it's a little rough to be at match point here, but that's how it be sometimes. And I mean, at the very least, maybe you've got a road here. You just need to win the pistol round and then carry that momentum through the next couple of rounds before these guys can get their economy online. But realistically, it's going to be rough. They are going to just push in hard and fast, knowing that they're the stronger players here and that all they need to do is get this one across the line.
Maybe Cybernova is just a defending team to think, you know what, we're happy to throw our attack. Our defense is impenetrable, and when it comes to sudden death, if they get to 12-12, they will be on the defense, so ball may be in their court.
Wow, my eyes are down.
Anyway, a big A push coming through. Titanium Savages wasting no time. They want to get this over and done with, but Meister Meow not willing to give it up without a fight. Funk is down. Northern throws to Petuline, flicks around, takes a random bob out. That's a double kill for the Rays. Now an even trade as a spike planted on the site, Pyronius.
Yeah, 3v3, and they've got a few retake tools. Doesn't quite... Ooh, big trade there.
Yeah, Slendy trading out their life 4-2. It's put Norsen in an interesting position. Has to defend the spike. The Payshell not finding anyone. Pops around the corner. Favos down.
So close.
Norsen picks it up. Shaitan down. That will be Titanium Savages. The clean sweep. Taking Cybernova 13-0.
Yeah, and that what a performance. I mean Titanium Savages, they both of these teams, just by the numbers, were looking pretty strong. Maybe about equal, we said at the start, or at least I said at the start. Titanium Savages, however, they did not lose a round this one, unlike the previous one. So it's going to be a big blow to Cybernova, who, yeah, that's got to be rough to be on the receiving end of that one.
And they've still got one more match later tonight, so hopefully they can bounce back and they don't take this negative feeling into it and then lose another one and suddenly go from 2-0 sitting on top of the competition to 2-2, just middle of the pack. But Titanium Savages will be sitting pretty coming to the next match, and you see that scoreboard. Norsen leading the way, a clear 11 kills over Funk and Trilogy, who are popping off themselves. It's insane.
Oh yeah, this is really, the tale is all here in the scoreboard. You can see just how dominant they were as a team. Like even Minimize, who it seemed to be sort of towards the lower end of things, maybe a bit memey with the LMGs, was getting a lot of damage done, a lot of assists on there, which means it's still getting a lot of utility for the team, making the rest of those kills easier to finish off. And
And with-
unfortunately, we're just not seeing the same sort of numbers from a lot of the members of Cybernova there.
No, that's how it is. 13-0. You're going to be in the bottom half of the scoreboard. But a shout out there to Shaitan and Meister Meow, sorry, making the most of that situation. They did manage to climb their way up to third and fourth and fifth on the scoreboard, at least regarding average combat score. So there's maybe something to take away from them that the two fraggers, particularly Meister Meow, on the Omen, you expect a player like that on such a mobile and independent hero to be top fragging on your team, and we did see that.
Yeah, I think in the end it comes down to I didn't see a lot of really good initiations from them. They seem to be very hesitant to start fights, especially once things got started. And maybe the heroes they're playing they don't have all the initiation tools they really need to be going against such a strong opponent. So we'll see if they have any sort of revision to their tactics. Maybe these are just the heroes they're comfortable on, but maybe they can swap around who's playing what, so they have a bit more in the way of those initiations, because a lot of those attacks, they really did just get to their staging areas and then sit there and wait for them to slowly be flanked and whittled down.
Valorant's certainly not a game you can afford to wait. You have to push. You've only got a minute 40 in the round anyway, and sometimes fortune favors the bold. You push in, you get a good trade coming into the site, you get the spike down. Even if it's a 3v3, it's very difficult for a defensive team to re-engage at a kind of 3v3 as opposed to a 5v5, because you're more limited in where you can come from, and 3 players can lock down all entries to a spike site.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it always depends on just what heroes you've got in play, because there's so many different things. You got a couple of heroes who are really good on those retakes. Certainly Breach comes to mind. That ult is incredible for retaking bomb sites, because you know that they've got to be on there somewhere. But it comes down to what tools you have in the kit and what heroes your players are comfortable on. In the end, though, this ends up being a 13-0 in favor of Titanium Savages, and as a result, we're going to be going on a bit of a break as we have a bit of time before our next game. We will be having a game on the hour, so don't go anywhere. We will be back. Until then, stay safe.